All right. Let's see what's going on today. Going to do some coding questions. So we're going to pick up where we left off last time, finishing up this install code here. We're also going to take some time to refactor it as well, because nobody likes sloppy code. So we'll fix that. Yeah, and feel free to hop in and ask questions. Whenever. All right, let's get going. So last time too, we were kind of had the buzzkill of updates going on, and updates are a big buzzkill. Always a buzzkill. Go ahead and share. Cool. All right. Let's take a peek. I already forgot all what I coded. So it looks like we coded some Callis or worked on Nessus for a bit. We have in here in our main function, we have get password. We have handle sudo operations. We do have a few more things to do here as well. Lid switch is one. We have to modify sleep behavior and print out services. All that should be easy. Let's make sure Nessus works before we move on. So let's handle that business. So this is the upgrade, getting password. We can go ahead. You can go ahead and comment this out. I just use control and slash // and it'll comment out so that doesn't run. And then we can go ahead and add our Nessus code here that we want to do. So the first thing we need to do is we need to fetch that identify Kali. So I think we built a function that will handle all of this. This is the download file. Download. So this is what happens when you don't read your notes. You run into issues. That's a big function. Probably want to deal with that. Weird activation key. Activate. Update Nessus. Generate random passphrase. Create a Nessus user. Write credentials. Let's write it in the file. So let's take a second and visualize what we need to do. So we could probably cut this and build a function to handle all of this, and we can call it just the Nessus setup function. And then it should take care of all this. And that way, when we call to do the Nessus piece in the main, we're only calling one function instead of calling all of these. That should work. So let's do func. What did I just call it? Func handle Nessus. Nope. Install. We already done an install. Setup Nessus. Let's do setup Nessus. Setup Nessus. I don't know if we'll need to do anything. We'll probably need to return. Do we need to return anything? We need to probably return a true or false. False if it doesn't install properly. We'll make sure we print out enough stuff as well. And then true if it finishes. We'll do that. So bool. And then we'll want to call each one of these, and we'll see if any of them are nested. Some people have some really interesting ways that they document their functions. And this is, I'm not a developer by any means. I've just learned to write code. I have gotten better over time, better commenting and all that. But it's not something I do formally most of the time, I would say. I code pretty rarely, just not formally. Like it's, and I say that in terms of I write code for me and not other people. Although now I've started writing code for other people, so it's a little bit different. So let's see, this returns data. Fetches the latest download URL from a Debian matching. So let's see what's used by this. Nothing uses it. What uses this? So download current Kali. So if we download current Kali, it calls fetch latest download. It identifies Nessus. And so it fetches the download URLs, identifies our Kali Nessus that we're looking for, then actually downloads it. So we need to do download current Kali is what we need to implement first. And we may update this to return the actual value of the file downloaded. That may be logical to do. And right now we can just return true. And let's just execute download Nessus. Or what do we call it? Setup Nessus. There we go. And this can actually be commented out. We don't need a password to download because that can be done with any privs. So let's just see how this works real quick. Might take a second to spin up. Oh, I should have increased the RAM. Tired. It's got all the problems with our code. Mostly that is not being used. So it's still not working yet. I'm not really sure why. Let's set a breakpoint and do it with the debugger and see if we get it to actually work. All right, there it goes. All right, so let's step into this function. We'll go into this one and we'll walk through it and get out of that. So we actually didn't get a, there it goes. It's in the debug terminal. So if error does not equal nil, so we have an error with the JSON, first issue of the day. So we're going to have to solve that in the download current Nessus. So let's actually take a look at what was returned. Here. And actually, let's set a breakpoint on this function next time. We'll restart debugging. And we'll go ahead and play it. It'll stop at the next breakpoint. Let's go into this function. So that's the URL, solid. So this should pull the URL. We should not get an error. We should get a response here with a body of stuff. So the body should, if you didn't watch the last video, the body here should have a list of all the different versions of Kali that are not Kali, of Nessus that exist. And then that, well, let's just keep stepping. If that does not equal, we got a good status, var data. So this is where it decodes the JSON. And what's interesting is that it may not be a JSON file, which could cause issues for parsing. Obviously, if it's trying to parse something, trying to parse a format that is incorrect. So we can look at that. Usually in the headers, it'll tell us what format to expect. It's usually like content type, I think. Let's content type X, content type JSON. So it is JSON. So question is, so it errored because it couldn't parse the JSON right there. Let's do it one more time. And Skip that. You can go into this one. So right now we're troubleshooting. We're trying to find the right issue to tackle. And we want to get it after line 35. Line 35 is when it makes the request and pulls down the data. We need it after the data has been pulled so that we can look at that response body. So it's supposed to be doing a JSON.decoder on the response body. So this here is what's being dissected. And the issue is it may just be where it's not going down far enough. And that's an issue. So what I'm looking for here while I'm clicking slowly through this, I would like to see, and I'm surprised I don't see it. We should be seeing all the different options, download options, and I'm not seeing them yet. What we could do, so this all body should be JSON. Let's actually just hit play, get the error. Let's give it the error and see what it. Let's actually let AI do this because I could troubleshoot this like myself, but we wanted to play with AI and see what it can do. So. And what function is this? Usually that's enough to let it do its thing. It says to print it. We can do that well enough. Needs to have the proper return values is the issue we're getting here. All right, let's see what the value is. So yeah, we couldn't see this. This must have all been encoded. All right, let's see what it says. Do what? All right, so we need to update the release struct and the response data struct. So here's a response data struct. Let's do it. Let's restart the struct. We have an error. Somewhere. Should be up here somewhere. I don't know where the error is. Oh, here it is. What's it say? Oof. So adjusting the struct had a cascading effect here because of everything relying on the shape of the struct, the values in there. It says cannot use file variable of type ruin. That's interesting. As a string value and argument to strings contain. So it's saying the file type is incorrect here. Whatever type ruin is, I have no clue. Don't really know where it's getting that. Let's see if it has an update to. on your fetch data URL. See, we are here. So this is what it wants us to do, but it's not going to work, I don't think. Because the return value is incorrect. Let's do this. Let's give it this and say the code changes are causing some issue. As a reminder, this is what I have so far. Give me updated code. And I'll give it enter. It should give us some updates. That code's pretty pretty beefy. Let's see if there's any errors when I copy this over. And there are. Not surprising. So this is honestly kind of how it is when you code with ChatGPT. You have to keep correcting it. You have to keep correcting it and coaxing it to get an actual answer. And it becomes kind of a game of whack-a-mole. But eventually, and this is where programming expertise comes in handy, because sometimes you can spot it. It's hard for me to concentrate, honestly, while I'm doing this. But usually I'll catch some stuff as I'm doing it, and I'll catch and fix it. So we got good decoding. We did not get good decoding. We got an error, an EOF error. So now we have to fix this. And what's funny too, sometimes I've seen when you're troubleshooting errors back to back to back to back to back, like it will just start changing so much code and start causing more and more errors. And I have to just stop using it to get the code to work. So this is fetch. This function is what it's fixing. Error, all day error. And what's so funny, like, it's so confident about its answers. It's like, oh yeah. Kind of drives me nuts a little bit. And it's still got an error. All right, so one of the things you can do is, for instance, so it's getting an error. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. So download current. Let's just rerun it and we'll see. So it's struggling with a data type is what it's struggling with. And so what we can do is have it print out what the data type is, or actually go into this function and see what's going on. So no error. Here's the raw response. I mean, to be honest, it looks like JSON to me, but it may not be properly formed JSON. Could be the issue. These are finicky formats, and if it's not done correctly, it won't be able to interpret it. So let's give it a. So we're going to say this is the string body. So this is the body return. This is what it's attempting to unmarshal. Body and data. So we'll see what kind of response we get. Sometimes giving in examples will help. So it's given us a bunch more information about handling the data. Was it really giving me Python? It's showing as Python here. So let's see. This is so bizarre. It's answering it and it's just switch. It was giving me properly formed Golang and now it's switched. I am going to give it this code to fix issues. I mean, we could try merging ourselves. But again, we want to try to use this tool to do it. And I would say this is where Copilot has an advantage where you can have it automatically update your code instead of doing this back and forth business that we're doing, which is kind of annoying. However, I dislike Copilot in some instances because when I do malicious stuff or stuff that's deemed as malicious, like security research, it pushes back and doesn't allow me to do it and will just stop responding, which is very annoying. So we'll let it finish here and then we'll copy and paste it over. So I think we might just do an hour tonight so I can catch up on my sleep. All right, here we go. More code. Let's see how much breaks. You'll probably see me get frustrated at one point and just dissect it and redo it myself. Because it's so annoying. It's failing. So annoying. And it's the JSON, it's the return data coming back. So let's see. Let's restart the debug and then analyze this. It's thinking it's an issue with the struct, how the data is being structured. I don't know. Let's go up here, then we'll figure out where our error is. That's where it's error. Let's go back up here. Just don't care about the read all. Puts it into the body. That's the raw response. It's creating a new releases variable or a data variable of type releases. If error, so this is where it's going to unmarshal the data and it's breaking. The question is, where is this? Just looking at this data. So here's the struct. Let's take a peek at json.unmarshal and see what it's supposed to do. I'm not familiar. We might actually be able to do it here. Oh, that didn't help me. Oops. This might be beneficial. So one of the things I'm unsure about is where this is being pulled. So this is where it's coming from and being put. I'm pretty sure. Let's go back and see, go packages. This usually tells us more about the definition. So unmarshal is what we want. So marshal parses encoding data stored in the result and the value pointed to by V. So that's the data. So this is where it's storing it. So I wonder if it's it just doesn't match. Let's go into this. This is valid data. It's going to return d.unmarshal v. Trying to look at the data to see if it's been. So here's the data. D. So the question is, do we have an error? Error is nil. Data should contain our stuff, and it does not. Looks very goofy. So it's definitely not unmarshalling it correctly. There's our latest. So how this should work really stores the available downloads. Like I'm looking at this to try to understand what's going on. This is like a early morning task, I think. I wonder if I could take the data. I'm trying to think if I could manually parse that data. We might want to manually look at it at least and understand. What's going on, because it's kind of screwing us right now. We can do that with CyberChef. Will work. I'm sure there's some other sites, but I just want to beautify it and take a peek at it and see if anything else struggles with it. And if it does, what we can do is, well, if it struggles with it, we know the format's goofed up and it's jacking it up. If it doesn't struggle with it, we know that the struct that's supposed to hold the structure of the downloads is goofed up, and we need to fix the struct itself versus what is going on. Don't want to restart my window. Don't do it. Oh man, it's making me restart. What a bummer. This is like, I know I'm in cybersecurity, but when I have the same hatred of updates in the middle of when I'm trying to do something that everyone else does. I promise you. It annoys me to no end. All right, let's see if we can fix this in 10 minutes. Maybe. Might be too much input for it. Let's see, JSON. So it's saying it is, so there could be an issue with the JSON. So what it was saying earlier could be what it is, or could just be this. Nope, okay, it's fine. So if you miss it, the issue was I just copied the entire printout by accident versus just the JSON. I thought I had the JSON. Once I removed that, it parsed it correctly. So it looks like what we want are releases latest, Nessus version, and then each one of these after. So we have different versions of Nessus. We want the latest. So, well, we should be we pull all this down. So we need to look at it and structure it. So we should have basically a set. So latest. Let's see what's actually, let's minimize this. So our struct is definitely wrong, I think. So release struct, latest, releases, coding problems. So what we could do is we could paste it in there and say, I need a struct to hold this data. Let's see what it says. So the only problem I have with this is that the version is going to change and it's going to break in the future. So the latest will work, but the one below it might not. So we need a way to use fuzzy logic there to account for it. Let's see if this works. And then we'll do fuzzy logic for it. So where the hell is it? See what the difference is here. Go away. Stop advertising. So release file will be the same as this. This is the releases, and notice it is different. Where is it? Version releases. So version releases go there. So the problem is it's going to mess our code up if we use it like this. Golly. Trying for it not to break everything. And it just may. YOLO. It broke. Right. What does it return? Should be file URL maybe. I think what we want is this one. Maybe that fixed the issue. Let's see. Doubt it. I doubt it. It can't be that easy. There's our raw file. So the data is wrong again, and we don't know why it broke, but we do know it wasn't able to unmarshal the data. Why? I don't know. That's the problem today, right? Let's try this one more time. It looks like we got the latest version of it here. Yeah, you are correct. It should not. Oh, shit. I keep clicking the wrong thing. All right. Well, thank you. But it doesn't work. This is the value after marshalling is complete. Womp, womp, womp. So I will tell you the biggest thing with programming is data wrangling. If your data isn't in the expected form, it just doesn't work. And it could be a mix of where I need to sit there and carefully analyze and understand the unmarshalling process, and then understand the data of the struct, which we were seeing up here. And how it's walking it. But yeah, programming's funny. Usually I'll put on some classical music while I'm programming so I can think without distraction. because it takes a lot of my brain power when I do it. But yeah, so this was a pretty uneventful stream, but yeah, good times anyways. So we'll call it there. And next time we'll do something else. Maybe we'll do some hacking, some investigations, or something like that. We'll chill with this programming. I'll knock it out, and maybe I'll share the end result somewhere. But yeah, see you next time.